Relationships often navigate seasons of silence, misunderstanding, or separation that feel like the end. You may find yourself questioning whether the bond is truly over, or if God has a greater purpose yet to unfold between you and this person. When emotions run high, clarity is hard to come by, but when God is still at work in a connection, He leaves subtle, undeniable signs that speak to your soul. You might feel an unshakable peace amid the uncertainty. Notice this person reappearing in your life in unexpected ways, or sense that individual growth in both of your lives is leading toward a divine purpose. When God isn't finished, He keeps your heart tethered to the relationship, allowing space for transformation rather than destruction. Here are 7 signs that God may still have plans for your connection. First sign: the bond stays open, never fully sealed. Revelation chapter 3:7. These are the words of Him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What He opens, no one can shut, and what He shuts, no one can open. You've tried to close the door on this relationship, to move on and write it off as finished, but something in your spirit resists. Even if communication has faded or years have passed, a quiet intuition whispers that the story isn't over. The connection doesn't feel resolved. Instead, it lingers like a door left slightly ajar. This isn't a coincidence. It's often God preserving space for His plans. When He keeps a relationship alive, it's to fulfill His purpose in His perfect timing. A truly finished chapter brings a sense of finality, but when God is still working, He scatters gentle reminders to keep your heart awake to His intentions. These reminders might come in fleeting moments, a prayer, a random memory, or an unexpected encounter that stirs your thoughts. No matter how hard you try to let go, the bond doesn't fully break. When God is involved, the doors He opens remain open until His work is complete. Your role is to trust His timing, not to force an ending He hasn't called for. We often rush to close what God intends to keep alive, but His word assures us that what He opens, no one can shut. That persistent connection isn't a weakness. It's a testament to God's bigger picture. Rest in His guidance, even when the path feels unclear. Second sign: you feel a pull to heal, not abandon, the brokenness. Colossians 3:13. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. Deep within, you sense a call to address the pain rather than walk away from it. Despite the hurt, your heart resists ignoring the fractures in the relationship. You're drawn to seek healing, to mend what's been broken, instead of letting bitterness take root. This isn't just an emotional response, it's a spiritual sign that God may still have work for you to do with this person. Restoration demands courage, especially when shutting down feels easier, but God uses these challenges to cultivate maturity and growth. When you feel prompted to engage in difficult conversations or pray for reconciliation, it's often because God sees potential for good in this bond. This pull to heal is about aligning with God's heart, not just soothing your feelings. He often draws you back to others, not only to restore the relationship but to renew your spirit through the process. Confronting what's broken strengthens you and allows God to guide how the connection can be rebuilt. That desire to mend may come directly from Him, urging you to pursue peace rather than escape. When God is leading you toward restoration, He won't let you run from what He's asking you to face. That persistent nudge is His Spirit at work, signaling that this relationship is in a season of refinement, not closure. Stay prayerful and open to His direction. Third sign: thinking of them brings peace, not regret. Philippians 4:7. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. When this person crosses your mind, you don't feel weighed down by guilt, shame, or regret. Instead, A gentle peace settles over you, even after all that's happened. This isn't your heart playing tricks. It's often a sign that God has covered this connection with His grace. Where His hand is at work, heaviness lifts and peace takes its place. Thinking of someone God has released from your life might bring discomfort or distance, but when He's still weaving a story, He grants a calm that keeps your spirit steady. The absence of regret signals growth, forgiveness, and a heart walking in His grace. This peace is a divine gift, a marker that the story isn't over. You've moved beyond the weight of old wounds, no longer clinging to resentment or blame. Instead, you feel a quiet reminder that the past didn't destroy you. It shaped you into someone stronger. That growth is rooted in grace, and grace always serves a purpose. This person may still have a role in your journey because peace keeps their presence alive in your heart. It's not about revisiting old pain, but stepping forward in God's light. What He has made clean, you don't need to carry as a burden. Stay open to the chapter He's still writing. Fourth sign, the thought of reconnecting feels calm, not chaotic. Psalm 29:11. The Lord gives strength to His people. The Lord blesses His people with peace. When you imagine reconnecting with this person someday, it doesn't spark anxiety or unrest. Instead, you feel a quiet confidence, a settled assurance, even without knowing how or when it might happen. This peace isn't rooted in fleeting emotions. It's a spiritual anchor. It often points to God's intention to restore or renew this bond in His timing. You don't feel compelled to chase them down or force a reunion. You're simply at rest, trusting that God is in control. This calm is a glimpse of what He might have planned, a sign that His hand is still on the relationship. In contrast, thoughts of reconnecting with someone outside of God's plan often bring confusion, urgency, or unease. But here, there's no chaos or desperation, just a steady calm that feels like a deep breath. This is the kind of peace only God can provide, a rare gift that points to His presence. You may not see the full picture, but your spirit feels grounded. God is not the author of confusion, so when peace prevails, you can trust He's guiding the way. Let that peace shape your steps until He brings clarity. If it's His will, He'll ensure the moment arrives in His perfect time. Fifth sign, they continue to inspire your faith even from afar. Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Even though you're no longer close, this person still stirs your spiritual growth. Perhaps it's a social media post that resonates, a memory of their steadfast faith, or the way they lived with purpose that continues to inspire you. Their influence hasn't faded, despite the distance between you. God may be using them to ignite something meaningful in your walk with Him. People who draw you closer to God, even from afar, are often part of His divine plan. Their impact endures, fueling your faith in ways that feel purposeful and lasting. This influence isn't random, it carries God's intent. Your spiritual growth doesn't depend on their physical presence, it's evidence of the seeds they planted in your heart. If they once encouraged you to pray more earnestly, seek God's will, or make wiser choices, that's a mark of His favor on the connection. A bond that deepens your faith is rarely wasted. It's not about holding onto them tightly, but recognizing how God continues to use their presence in your life for His glory. If someone still inspires you to grow spiritually, that's a powerful sign. God often works through those He hasn't finished using. Don't overlook those who, even from a distance, help you live in purpose. Sixth sign, you notice synchronicities that point to them. Psalm 37:23. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in Him. You keep encountering small, meaningful coincidences that bring this person to mind. A song that reminds you of them, their name appearing in unexpected places, or a conversation that echoes your shared past. These synchronicities aren't mere chance. They often feel like God's gentle nudges, reminding you that this connection still holds significance. When God is still at work, He orchestrates these moments to keep your heart attuned to His plans. They're not loud or obvious, but they carry a quiet weight that's hard to ignore. These moments might feel like divine breadcrumbs, guiding you to stay open to what God is doing. You don't need to force meaning onto them, but their persistence suggests that God hasn't closed this chapter. When a relationship is truly over, such reminders fade into the background, but when God is involved, they keep surfacing, stirring your spirit. Your job isn't to chase these signs, but to pray for discernment and trust God's timing. He orders your steps, and these synchronicities may be His way of showing you that the path still leads back to this person. Stay attentive to His voice as He reveals the next steps. Seventh sign, your prayers for them feel alive and purposeful. 1 Timothy 2:1. I urge then, first of all, that petitions, prayers, intercession, and thanksgiving be made for all people. When you pray for this person, it doesn't feel like a routine or empty gesture. Instead, your prayers feel vibrant, filled with purpose and conviction, as if God is actively listening and moving through them. You might find yourself lifting them up without fully knowing why, yet the act brings peace and clarity to your heart. This isn't just sentimentality. It's a sign that God is still weaving His purposes into this connection. When He prompts you to pray for someone, it's often because His Spirit is at work in their life and yours. These prayers might focus on their well-being, their growth, or the healing of your shared past. Whatever the content, the act of praying feels like a divine assignment, a call to partner with God in what He's doing. When a relationship is truly over, prayers for that person often fade or feel distant, but when God is still involved, they carry a sense of urgency and life. This is His way of keeping your heart connected to His plans for the relationship. Don't dismiss these moments of intercession. They're a sign that God is still writing the story. Keep praying, trusting that He's working in ways you can't yet see. If this message has encouraged your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe to Inspiration Promax. Your support helps share faith-filled encouragement with others who need it. Be blessed.